to just tell me like a little bit about yourself, how you got into the industry?
Yes, so my name's Chloe. So I have a business called CNS Aesthetics. I got into the industry 7 years ago. So I already had a hair and beauty salon. So I was already doing beauty and hair. And we had a lady who was coming in doing aesthetics, and she just kept coming in, and she was just late or like cancelling the girls, and it was actually a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I remember the one day we had like
I
think we had like 15 people for her or something, and she came in, she'd do like a pop-up, and anyway, she didn't come, so we had all these people waiting, and I said to my mum, I was like, do you know what, like I really need to look into it, because I really think I'd love doing it, because I loved the beauty anyway. So yeah, so I did it, and I was really lucky. Like I worked really hard, built up really quickly, and everything I did earn, I just always went straight back in, more training. And then gradually built it up, and then I ended up selling the salon like 2 years later and just going fully into aesthetics.
Oh, you sold 2 years later?
Yeah,
that was quite quick.
Yeah,
then,
really quick. Yeah, so I found I was too focused on the aesthetics that I just didn't have the time for the staff. And then I felt like the staff were getting lazy and stuff like through the rest of the salon, and I was like, I haven't got the time to manage them anymore. Like I really wanted to focus on the aesthetics. So yeah, I sold it, and then just literally went into like my own aesthetics clinic.
That's
and grew from there. Yeah, and then now we've got so I've got a franchise in the Midlands, in Gornal, and then also in Norwich. And then I started training after about 4 years, I think. And now I train as well.
So you're nice and busy.
And then to mix it all up, I then met my husband like 4 years ago. And so I ended up moving abroad. So I was between England and Dubai a lot. And I got the business to like a really good place where everyone was kind of working, and I could just come and go as I pleased, really. And then I was in Thailand actually, and I actually just woke up one day and I was like, what am I doing? I'm so bored. Like I was like, yeah, but people think like, oh, it must be so great. Like you don't have to do anything. Like I was just kind of like taking some calls and stuff. So when I was in Thailand, we spent like a year there, and I ended up that's why I did my positive psychology course.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was like, what can I learn? Like I need to do something. I'm really like bored as such, and I was like, it's so strange because this should be like my dream.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't. I was like, oh my God, I've got nothing to get up for. So I did my positive psychology certification and started coaching, and I love it.
Oh, that's so great. So I think that, like, especially because you'd achieved so much, you'd sold your salon, you've kind of gone there, and then you've thought, okay, this is what you think the dream is, but actually you've still got so much more to give. So you're always going to get bored, Chloe.
I know, because I was like, oh my God, I was like saying it to my husband. I was like, this is just so weird. Like, why am I feeling so bored? I just felt like I was like just going to the gym and like plodding around and like going for lunch and
feeling a bit helpless.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
useless.
So then you just start listening. So I start listening to books and this and that, and then I'm like, okay, I need to do something. And then when I did start like, I guess looking at positive psychologists and things like that, and I was like, yeah, I need to like understand this more. And obviously, I then realised for myself, like for me, I really do need a purpose and a drive. Like I need that, like get up and go every day. So I won't be retiring anytime soon.
No, well, that's good. So with the positive psychology course, that's interesting then. So did you do that because you wanted to kind of branch that gap between knowing your clients and building the relationship for the success of the clinic?
Yeah, so to be honest, I actually more did it at the time for myself. I didn't actually know that I would use it as much as I did.
If you've used it,
yeah. So it was a 6-month course, so much learning, and we had to do practice coaching, but I actually more so thought like maybe it will be really good for me to help just the team. So like the girls who are training with me, and because I've always have had that quite motivated energy, like I'm quite positive, like, so I thought, let me just learn how I can like push this on to the rest of the team, I guess. And then when I started doing it, I absolutely loved it. And I was like, do you know what? Like, even now, when I'm actually just teaching students, like the energy you can give them, and like when you start to helps someone realise that like they've got so much to be happy about, it really helps people like flick that switch and be like, yeah, come on, I can do this, and I love it.
So you feel like that contributes a lot to success and to feeling like you can succeed?
100%. 100%. I think like it all depends on the person, like what mental state they're in at the moment, but like when they actually have that like realisation that like, okay, I've actually got so much going for myself, and everyone has like there's no one that's got nothing going for them, like it's just that like belief in yourself and realising like what you actually want, and that like why can you not achieve it? Like people just have that mental block.
Yeah, they do. I notice this a lot, and I think there's like a few things that come into play with mentality. One is low self-esteem with the person, just because they have low self-esteem naturally. And two, I always find that it's like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I always feel like it's like a partner that's like being mean to them and that's like basically making them feel rubbish.
Yeah, I think so.
And they listen to that so much, and they believe it with conviction. And when you actually get to know these women and you speak to them, I can never believe how much of this actually comes from men.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I think so many women are pulled down, but like so many that you like. You train as well, like people that come in and like single mums and stuff that have been with men and they've just controlled everything they've done. And I think it's so sad, like I get so many people through the door that just, you can just tell that they have got someone there pulling them back, and it's like they want to believe in themselves and they want to create this dream and they want to like have something to be proud of themselves for, but there's like no one believing in them. And I think that's why it's really nice as well when we do train people that we have that like support for them, because
100%. And I think as women we get it, whereas I do think that unfortunately not all men, but some men see the beauty industry as like a little bit, they kind of trash it a little bit, like, oh, you know, you're just beauticians, or you're just doing that, you're just doing this, failing to actually realise that the beauty industry is a multi-billion-pound industry, and that actually women are smashing it at the beginning.
Yeah, most women that I meet, like even like just having a conversation with you today, you meet people and they're so smart, like and just because people have like got some hair extensions in or they've got some eyelashes on, like you get such a criticism by the way, or because you're in this industry where you're making people look good. Like we make people feel amazing. Like someone can come through our door and we can transform like so much of their self-confidence, and that's like a massive skill. Like we're literally changing people's lives and how they wake up in the morning and feel about themselves, and then people overlook that because they're like, oh, you just do this, and you just like, we don't do it for money, we do it because we actually enjoy it.
Absolutely. And I think this comes into play a little bit with like medic, non-medic bashing. Like we are here for the same reason, because we want people to feel and look amazing, you know. And I think this industry does sometimes lose its way with direction, and it can be quite catty, but I do think that more so of late, I think people are starting to speak up, because more industry leaders are moving forward, speaking more, and that's encouraging actually more groups of people to come together and actually say, you know what, no, this is not right.
100%. 100%. I think the community of aesthetics is coming a bit better. Like I think people aren't so like on their own anymore. Like there is a little bit more of a sense of belonging for people, like and I think that really helps, like going back to like positive psychology stuff, but like to have a sense of belonging, everyone needs that. Everyone needs some support. So those people that do come from a household where they're not getting the support and someone is tearing them down all the time, when you start like helping someone believe in themselves, like even just now, like the amount of awards that are coming out and group things and events and retreats is so lovely, because people that haven't got anyone at home, they're starting to have this support network that they can actually fall back on, and they can actually message someone and be like, hey, oh, like this has happened or this has happened, and they've actually got people helping them with no judgment, which is just so nice.
Yeah, and this is very new, because I've been in the aesthetics industry 10 years, you've been in it a long time as well. This never existed for us 5 years ago. There was just nothing. It was so lonely. It was the saddest place.
Yeah, well, I said that to you even today, didn't I? It was like, I feel like I've been under a rock. Like I didn't ever used to post, you know, like obviously I'm doing my stuff with my clinic, but I didn't really reach out or speak to many people in the industry. Like there just wasn't that thing there, unless I met someone on a course. There just wasn't like...
Yeah.
There just
and you're
wasn't...
clinging on to them for dear hope.
Yeah.
It's the only person that you know.
Honestly, I'm so lucky, actually. Like, one of my actually best friends now, she came to my wedding and everything, I met her on the first day of my aesthetics course.
Oh, she came to your wedding?
Yeah, honestly. So 7 years ago, I met her.
Oh.
And how cute. At the time, she was 18.
Oh, wow.
And she was like...
so cute. That's Chloe, that is the cute story.
I felt like I literally like mummied her. Like, she had got the train to the course because we trained in Manchester.
Oh.
And she'd got the train and I like took her to the McDonald's and stuff after the course and like took her back to the hotel. And obviously now she's 25 now and she's like absolutely smashed it. She's done so well. She's amazing. But like, I literally met her on the first day of my course, and she is now, she came to my wedding. She trained for me, so she's got her own clinic, but she trains for me for my academy. Amazing. And like, when she comes and trains, she goes and stays at my mum's house in their room. Like, when I'm not here, she's like...
So she's more family really now, isn't she?
Yeah, but I'm like, you do meet such good people.
Yeah, you do. And I think that's why, like, we've just had a conversation off camera about, you're going to the awards, because the International Aesthetic Awards are obviously coming up in November. Yeah. Did you go to them last year?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was so good.
I'm so excited. So like, this is the first year I ever went to anything. Like, I literally have done nothing socially. It's crazy. Like, I feel like now that everything is being a bit promoted more, it's so nice. Like, I'm so excited to like put faces to names and stuff, and like, actually, because everyone's so nice.
Everyone is so nice, and you do assume that like, oh, you know, it might be a bit, but it's not. Everyone's just, you know, really chill, and everyone's in the same boat, because not everyone's come from big groups of people, because everyone's started by themselves.
Everyone's been on their own, and that's why it's so nice now that everyone is actually like coming together a bit. I think it's lovely, so nice.
And then we had lockdown, which was like more
horrendous for us.
Yeah, it was like more stress, because everyone was even more alone than they ever were before.
Yeah, and it was horrible. And if everyone in aesthetics was in that like middle boat as well, because we were like all self-employed, like no one had really any help. It was so shit.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
It was like, when I look back, I'm like, wow, how did we get through that? Like, and you still just kept thinking like, it's gonna be all right, we'll be working soon, we'll be working soon.
It was a scary time.
It was horrible.
We weren't allowed to open, were we?
No, it was so bad. And especially for like, you know, anyone that was like us, and you have your clinic and you have all these outgoings, and you're so used to like being able to earn whatever you need to earn. Like, we know as business owners, like, I feel like if we have a goal, we can get it. Like, we make sure we get it. But there we were just like, wow, I can't do anything. It was horrible.
It was awful. So you've mentioned something that I want to speak to you about. So you've said obviously about you had your clinic and then you sold your salon, and you've mentioned about reinvestment. Now this comes up a lot especially when I'm teaching, and I think sometimes that girls will come in and they'll see the girls with the nice things and they don't realise that they do actually have to reinvest. What advice would you give to any business owners that are new, that are worried about reinvesting into the business and not having thousands in the bank? And while you answer, I'm just going to move slightly out of the tree. Don't ever distract you.
So for me, I would say to someone, like, you have to keep investing in yourself to progress. Like, unfortunately, it's not a one course thing that you're going to go from here to here. Like, you just can't. And I try and look at things. So like, for example, I someone believes in manifestation, right? You can't just imagine being this woman with this nice car and this nice house and these things. You can't just wake up one day and open your eyes and that's happened. You have to go through the journey, and you have to go through every single stage. We've all been through every single stage. Like, no one, like at the beginning, like when I was in first training, it was a case of, I still had my salon, so I was still doing other stuff to make sure I had enough money to get by all the time. And as soon as I was making money, I was reinvesting, because I was like, I knew the skill that I wanted to have to give to my clients, and I knew I wasn't at my full potential yet. So I wasn't going to be thinking, right, I'm going to do this half-hearted. I wanted to get the skill there. So I made sure that I knew what I was talking about, and I was kept driving back up the country. At the time, there wasn't that many places that trained, so I kept going and doing more training, and getting myself to a place where I felt really confident with my clients. And so people say now, obviously, oh yeah, you go on these 3-day courses. Okay, yeah, you do go on this 3-day course, but then it doesn't end there.
That's the start.
Yeah, that's the start. And it's like, I try and say to all of our students, like, this isn't going to be an overnight success. You know, you've got to keep putting, you've got to switch in Netflix in the evening to watching YouTube videos, to watching TikTok, to watching people that you enjoy. Like, you've just got to be constantly educating yourself. And like, the things, like, if you're someone that does want materialistic things, they just eventually come. Like, I think if you actually are doing it because you want to help people feel better, and you want to do this because you really have a passion for it, then I feel like you just have to keep putting everything into it, because then the money just comes. Don't chase the money. Like, you have to you have to keep giving money away, I think. I mean, I believe in that anyway. Like, money just comes, money will always come back. Like, if you're just stacking that money, like, for what? You're not getting any better at the skill. Like, you've got to get to where
it's only going to take you so far, isn't it?
Yeah, and
definitely.
Like, and then you're not going to be able to increase your prices, and you're not going to be able to, you
get left behind in the end, because 100%. You can only get so good from one course. And I think when you go on multiple courses and you are traveling around the world, you pick up different techniques, you learn new things, you meet new people, you expand your networking. There's so many positives to reinvestment. And I think when you get comfortable in aesthetics and you think, okay, I'm comfortable because I'm doing well, I'm earning the money I want to earn, someone will take over you, because there's always someone that's going to push harder than that, and that's going to get to that point and go and just zoom straight on past you.
I think the reinvest, like, spending money on like self-development is just 100%. Like, you need to get better at your skill and your mindset as well. Like, everything that you're doing, you need to be like spending money on. If you need to go to a gym, go to a gym. Like, if you need to do like things to make yourself feel better, then spend them. Like, don't just hoard your money. Like, I think
because we feel so guilty about spending on ourselves, but actually that's what's going to keep us going and keep us feeling good mentally, as well as.
And don't get me wrong, definitely don't go and spend money. Like, don't go and like make £5,000 this month and buy a Chanel bag, because that's just ridiculous. But like, I think the more you give out, like, to the universe, I'm such a fucking manifester, but the more you give out, because the more you give out, the more you get back, like 100%. And I think, like, I was talking to someone the other day, she's a massive manifester, and she was like, money doesn't like being chased. Like, money likes to just come to you, and you have to attract it. So you've got to be in your best self, in your best mindset, in your best, like, happy self, like, doing things that you love. And when you're doing something that you love and it shows, but you're not doing it for the money. Like, if you are literally doing this every day just because you want to get rich, it's not going to fucking happen.
No, it's not.
And it's going to show in your work. It's going to show to your clients. You're not going to get anywhere. Like, you have to do it because you love it.
Yeah. And there has to be that passion and drive.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious, the ones that, like, because obviously you train as well.
Yeah.
The ones that are coming in to earn money, and the ones that love it, because they don't care. They don't ask those, I call them trigger questions. Oh, okay, how much money can I make off that? They'll go, okay, and like, they'll ask like a safety question, or they'll ask a client reaction question. They do not ask me anything related to money. And I instantly know who's there for the right reasons and who is there for the wrong reasons. Straight away.
It's so clear. And then they are 100% as well, the ones that do just come in for the money. They're the ones that you see that nothing ever comes of them, because they have no client care. They're not bothered about what they're actually giving to their clients, you know.
Which shows lack of client care, shows to the client, to the other members of staff, to the client that then leaves. And, you know, maybe the client leaves and the mum says, oh, you know, how'd you get on? Oh, you know, it was all right, but, you know, I'm not sure about, you know. You lost your client, never going to come back.
And this is like such a face-to-face job that you have to have that, like, the passion there, and the friendliness and everything. You have to be someone who wants to, like, talk to your clients. You're not going to get repeat clients if you're not bothered about them. Like, you have to be interested in them and interested in, like, I always think when they come in, you want to understand, like, what is it that they've come in for? Because they haven't just come in because they want, like, lip filler. They haven't come in for that. They've come in because they're lacking confidence, or they, you know, they're seeing all their pictures, they're filtering all their pictures. There's a reason that they've come in. They haven't just come in because to buy that syringe of filler. Like, that's not what they're here for. They're here to, like, come away with this certain feeling. And you need to try and find out what that is, because a lot of the time as well, So people miss the consultation, people miss the actual speaking to them about what it is that they're here for. And like so many times they come in and it's like, they don't actually need what they've come in for. They just come in because their friends had that and their friend looks good with that. Yeah. And it's like actually getting to know your client and finding out what is actually going through their mind and what's actually going to benefit them is so much more important than like just doing what they paid for.
Yeah, and I think the danger with that is when they come in and they've picked, like, for example, you'll get this as soon as I tell you this, they've picked like 3 mil jaw. Most actually female clients don't actually need 3 mil in the jaw at all.
No.
And usually it's a chin issue or something along those lines.
Most jaws don't need jaw ever.
No. Because they just kind of tend to add that boxy, bulky look. And even if they don't and you do it softer, again, I think that jaw filler can be quite defeminizing.
Yeah, 100%.
And no one ever comes in and says, I want to look defeminized, ever.
No, it's one of them things.
And it's not a weight loss tool.
No, and I think that is what a lot of people get it confused as, because they think it's going to make them look more snatched and it's going to give them like a stronger jaw, which is going to make them look slimmer. But most of the time it is, like you said, they need chin or they need jaw slimming. You know, so... Yeah, 100%. I think you have to be aware of what it is that they're trying to achieve.
And if you go ahead and do that treatment that they've booked and say, okay, I'm going to do your jaw because you booked it, they're not going to go away feeling happy because they're not going to get that expectation of what they're thinking in their head. Yeah. Because it's not going to marry up.
Yeah.
Again, lost a client.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're going to go somewhere else and try and get that feeling from the next person.
And it's so mean as a practitioner to not understand that. Like to not... I think if you're going to be putting injection, this is where the industry is. Like, you have to be like understanding what you're doing to the client and why you're doing it. Like, you need to make sure that this is suitable for your client, that this does look good on them, that this is going to balance them nicely. Like, don't just put it in because that's what they've paid for, because it's so bad on you and it's so bad for them. Like, they're going to go home feeling so much worse because like you said, it's managing their expectations. And then the ag you're going to get, because they're going to go home and they're going to be like, oh, you haven't made me look like this picture.
And there's been no discussion setting the expectation of, well, if you'd have shown me the picture in the clinic, I could have told you that it was never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you do have to be very honest.
You have to be so honest. Like, and you have to turn people away as well, because and I think turning people away is one of the things people will respect you for more as a practitioner. And that person that you didn't treat is probably going to go and recommend you to their friend and to this person and to that person, because they'll be like, do you know what, they're actually going to be honest with you. They're actually only going to take your money if they feel like you need it, which I love that. Like, I get, it's obviously not the best thing, but I love turning people away. If someone comes in, I love to make them feel good about themselves though, and be like, look, you don't need this. Like, this is this.
And there's probably 10 more people outside of that circle that have already told them that.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah, I don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because you're the professional and you're the one that's trained and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
What an amazing feeling.
Yeah. And it's it feels really rewarding, because you actually see them go away a bit happy, that they're like, oh, wow, I actually don't need that. And they're like, oh, wow. And it's nice feeling for them that you've been honest with them. And it's a nice feeling for them that, like, oh, yeah, everyone has been saying that. And, I obviously don't need that.
Yeah. And I think, do you ever talk to clients about, like, body dysmorphia?
Yeah, because they do. And I think it's very common with lips. A lot of people with lips come in and they see so many pictures on Instagram and they keep wanting to get their lips bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, they can't see the size that their lips already are. And when you explain it, it's really a thing, isn't it? And like, when you explain to them, and I'm like I did a thing on my stories like not that long ago showing about people's faces, and like, when you actually look at some of those beautiful faces and then you put their lips like double the size or a third of the size, it really takes their beauty away from them. And so I try and explain it to them that I'm like, just because these size lips looks good on this face doesn't not mean it's going to look good on your face. Like, we're just going to look at lips, we're going to stop looking at the rest of your features, so we're not going to see like your natural beauty. Like, let's just stop.
Yeah, and that's so right, and it's so good, and it's so good that you have them ethics, and obviously that's what's led you into kind of coaching, and you're doing a lot more of that now, aren't you?
Yeah, so I was literally on a call last night, so I've just started like a group coaching program. So there was 11 of them on the call last night, and my first call I went through just mindset, and I just went through really basic, like, in this 6 weeks, I want you girls to all be ready to go all in. And if you're not ready to go all in on yourself and your business, then this is the wrong time. Like, you need to be prepared to, if you want this transformation, you need to be prepared to give your business your all. You can't tell me I couldn't do this in my business today because I had to clean my house. Like, you have to give up all these silly little and silly things like that. But it's like, you have to forfeit other things. Like, you're saying, oh, you know, I need to reorganize my wardrobe. Like, this doesn't matter. If you want to succeed in your business, you've got to go all in on it. Yes, all right, you've still got to obviously do your family. That's really priority. But other than your family, like, you've got to prioritize your business.
Otherwise, again, no point.
It's like, you can't say, oh, sorry, Chloe, like, I didn't manage to get that task done. I watched that video because last night I had to, like, do all my ironing or whatever. Like, you have to just... Sometimes, like, for example, people like that, you need to, like, invest in someone to iron your clothes. Like, there's little things that there's little things that you have to give up if you want, like, you have to work on your business.
And you can't do that if you're distracted with things that, you know, aren't the world isn't going to end if it's not done. And I think me and you align very similarly with this, because I have this same conversation with them, and I actually say to my clients, are you actually mentorable? And they never know what that means. And I'm like, I don't want to work with you if you can't let me hold you accountable for things. You're just not who I want to work with. And they're like, oh. Like, they're so surprised.
But it's so true, because it's like, you have to be able to get something back from them. Because otherwise it's like, we're wasting our time as well. And you feel like otherwise you're just talking at them and giving them all this, like, ideas and stuff, and they just don't do it. So they have to be ready to put that focus in.
They have to be ready, and they have to be willing to take the advice. They have to be like sponges, just taking everything in and giving no resistance almost, because they've come to you because they see a value in your expertise. They know that you're ahead of the game, so that's why they've chose you. But they really do have to just be like these sponges that just listen to everything we say. Unless they want to get there 20 times slower to the end.
I know, because I'm like, I wish, like, if there was someone 5 years ago, I would have been all over it. Like, oh my God, I would have been... I would have been the first one through anyone's door if they'd have opened up mentorship. Because it grows. You just can pick your mentor's brain. Like, I've worked with 3 different coaches over the last year, and every time I do, I'm like, you can pick their brains and they give you everything back that you need, and you can get from A to B so much quicker. But when I was saying it to them last night, I was like, right, in this 6 weeks, you have to be ready to go all in. So I want to make sure, so I make them all come on camera and say, like, that they're ready. And then I was like, now what I need you to do is I need you to work out why you're in this business. Like, what is it that you want out of this business? What is your goal? And if your goal is just an amount of money, then we need to scrap this. Like, it needs to be a further thing. You need to work out why you're doing this. Like, and, you know, if it's for someone with children, is it because they want to make their children proud? They want to take their children to Disneyland next year, or, you know, whatever it is. But there needs to be a deeper purpose, and everyone has got a deeper purpose. They just need to find out what it is. And once you know that, it makes every day so much more fulfilling, because you're like working towards your goal, and you're like one step at a time.
So true.
It's so needed.
And I think we're programmed as human beings to be so money driven that we do think about the money, but then our brains stop. It's like, money, stop. But then we don't think, okay, but what's the money for? And then get to that end reason, like you said, that emotional connection of, why do I want this? Why do I need the money? But having the emotional connection and taking that through with you day to day is so much more motivating than just thinking, well, I need the money. So much more motivating. You know? Like, honestly, when you have that, like, feeling inside that you know why you're doing this, and every day you wake up and you can smile to yourself because you're like doing it for happiness. So, like, it will always root back to a feeling of happiness. You want that because every day feels happier because you're working towards your dreams and your goals. And, like, if someone is watching this that's out there, like, doing something every day that they hate, that is not life. Like, that is just, like, sack that off now. No money is worth waking up every day for and being miserable. Like, if you don't like, and if you're like, if you're in aesthetics and you're waking up and you're miserable and you don't know what you're doing with your clients, then quit. Don't do it for money. Go and find what your actual purpose is. Go and find what
is going to light you up every day. Like it's so shit to like spend your life doing something that you're not happy with.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people do get stuck in ruts and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then they're just kind of like, okay, where do I go with this? But there's so many options.
Yeah, so many. Like, and people make money now doing the craziest of things. Like there's something out there for everyone. So I think it's so important that you make sure that you're on your right journey. Like you only do have the one go. And if you are just doing something every day for a number, it's never going to make you happy.
Yes.
And like, you know, with goal setting, if you've like every like billionaire in the world, no billionaire gets to like, he don't get to 1 billion and then quit. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't.
Yeah.
Like when it's a money goal, it will always increase. So unless it's making you happy, is what I'm saying, is there's no point, because you will keep thinking, I'm gonna be happy when I've got 100 grand, and then you'll get that 100 grand, and then you'll want 2, and then you'll want 3, but you're never gonna feel fulfilled, because it's you just think you're gonna be happy from that number. So you need to be happy about the journey that's in it.
Yeah, and getting there in the experience that's going to create new kind of pathways, like neurologically, you know, to actually understand, okay, this is what drives me, this is what I'm going to move forward with, I'm passionate
and
about.
having a nice routine every day, something that you like doing every day, having healthy habits, like you know, like we said, the sense of belonging, having this community, seeing your friends, doing stuff with your family. Like you've got to have such a nice balance in your life that you enjoy, and not put like with the happiness side of things, make sure you are happy every day. Like you can't think like, right, that's what, like when we went back to the money thing as well, like, oh, just saving all your money. And then you're thinking, right, I'm just going to save all my money. I'm going to be really stressed. I'm going to be really unhappy. I'm just going to work, stress. But it's fine, because I'll be happy once I've got 50 grand and I'm going to buy this or whatever. And then it's like, no one is ever happy when they reach that. No. Because you get a 5-minute buzz of buying something. Like we all know.
Lucky.
Yeah, like if that, like, you know, now, like, as you get older, I've got into that age now where I'm like, I used to look at things and be like, oh, I'd love this and I'd love that. Now I think, what do I actually want that for? Like, why? Like, it's an ego thing sometimes, that you think that you need this particular bag or this particular thing. And it's like, don't work because you want that. Work, you know, you need to make the work around you, and then like all the other things come if they're meant to be. It just comes. Don't work for it.
I agree. And I think what people don't understand that aren't taking high income at the moment, especially with new mentorees that we have on programs and things like that, because they've not earned the money, they don't actually understand that once they do start earning the money and it comes in more and more, actually their bills increase because their level of living becomes more luxurious. So the car that they might have been paying on finance that was 300 a month is now a car that's 1,000 a month, because they've gone from a Mini to a Porsche. And you know, as soon as you increase that luxury of living and that lifestyle, your bills increase. So you need to earn more money. So it's
always going. It's always this one goes up and then this one goes up. Unless you're going to live a modest
life. It equates to the same thing. Whether you've got 10 grand or whether you've got 50. Because those luxuries, you know, you'd be surprised how many Uber Eats, you know, you start ordering in, you think, oh, you know, it's all right.
And everything increases because you're like, oh, well, I earned this much, so it's fine, because when I go on that holiday, I'll stay there. Because you look at like almost a percentage, the level of it, and you think, it's fine, I can afford it because I made this and this and that. But like everything that you spend goes so much more. And then even like, in terms of like your mentorships and things like that, you spend more on coaches and more on this, and everything you spend is so much more.
It's crazy.
But yeah, you have to, you definitely have to give to the universe to like receive it back 100% anyway. Like the more you spend on yourself, the more you make, I think, anyway, because you make sure you have to. Like there's, when you do get into that mindset of like, I can do it, I think whatever goal you set for yourself, you'll always make it, because there's no other option. So when you do go like all in on your business and yourself, it's like, if you don't do it, then no one else is going to do it for you.
Exactly.
And like, if you're not relying on a man, you're not relying on someone else to do it for you. You have to make it work. And like, you have to be like all over everything, you know, social media and marketing and everything that there is at the minute. You can't expect to just put like one post on a day and like all these, like you're going to get 25 bookings through the door. Like there's so much that goes into it that people don't see.
And I think there's a lack of understanding, especially with some of the girls that I work with, because they'll post something, I'll go, why did you post that? and they'll go, oh, because I needed to post.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there's
but
no
what was the message?
Yeah.
What was the purpose of that post?
Yeah.
If you're just posting to post, don't do it.
Yeah.
There needs to be a reason that you post it, and a goal and a value that you're either adding or giving to that person that you're trying to target it.
Yeah, that's what I do. Do you do that with your mentors? I'm like, I'll go through like, let's plan your month out.
Yeah.
Let's work out. We need some personal posts. We need some value posts. We need some sales posts. Like, and people, but that again, that's something that people don't learn. You don't learn it in a beginner level, and there's so much to learn within having your own business that people don't tell you about.
So separate to just being having your own business. Yeah,
because being a business owner is so hard. Like, I didn't do a business course, so like as I've like gradually grown my businesses over the years, you learn so much through like trial and error, and just like, I think me and you are quite similar, where we've just grown it ourselves over the years. Yeah. But you have to spend so much time sitting there learning just yourself.
And I'm sure you've had just as many breakdowns as I have, Chloe. Because I had some serious breakdown in my first 5 years because I was winging it. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still winging it now. Like, sometimes someone says something to me and I think, what? Sometimes I actually think, how do I actually get myself here? Grandma said it the other day, and she's like, she's been doing, she does SPMU, and we was just laughing at each other because we were like, people see like, this is when it comes to like the community thing, because people see like your page and you put together all the time and like in your scrubs and this and that, but people don't see that like stressed bit at the weekend, or like you forgot, because you've got so much relying on you that you're like, oh shit, I forgot to order this, or I forgot to do this, and there's like, people think that you've just got it all together all the time, and like let me tell you, most of us haven't, because it's like there's so much that goes into it and so much that's laying on us that we're like, oh my god, like crap, that's tomorrow. And you're like, it happens to me all the time, because we've got so much on our plate and no one prepares you for that. No one prepares you. Like, people just think that we've got this like lavish lifestyle or something, and we're just like wake up like a magician and everything's just magically there, and we just turn up to clinic and live this lovely life, drinking our coffee, and it's like I'm like, oh my god, like the weekends, like every minute of every day we're thinking about work.
It's so hard, and this has been one of my goals actually for this year, is to try and switch off at 5. I'm not doing very well. I'm really not. I'm really trying. Yeah. Because I've got a son, and it's like you want to be present and in the moment, and if you can't be, it does take away from the whole purpose of doing this. Yeah. Because we're here trying to make everyone else feel good, and we feel like absolute crap.
Yeah. I know. No, I think you have to have that bit of a switch off. Like, you've got to have, especially like when your son's like, he's only 9. Yeah. And like, so you want to like enjoy your dinner with him and stuff, don't you? Yeah. But like, people don't see that side of it, do they? They do think that you have just got like, especially when you've got a team, or you've got, like you're in between countries and stuff, and people think that it is all just like hearts and roses, but there's so much that goes on behind it, and so much we still are learning every single day. And like, it's just so important for people to realize that there is so much, you don't just get to like this point and it all just stops, and you're just got like this magic business that runs itself. Yeah. It's like there's so much. If
anything, it's more pressure because the intensity's on to make sure that everything's running great, and that comes again with experience and help, and this is where coaching is great, because you can have someone to help you with those things rather than be like, oh, I'm kind of just here on my own. Yeah. Because there's only so much you can actually physically do on your own without having a breakdown.
Yeah, and you just, so many people need that support that is just, it's just not spoken enough about. I think we're coming now.
And it's okay to ask for support. Yeah. And people feel like I need to ask this question. Yeah. So when you're coaching and you're mentoring, do you find that you're spending most of your time with them talking about business, or do you find like you're spending a lot of time on emotional kind of
states? Emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I was so thinking you were going to say that, but I was like,
yeah. Like so much, like so many people that I coach, I feel like their main thing is like their self-confidence. Yeah. Like not believing in themselves, or like I was coaching someone like a couple of months ago, and it turned out that really what she needed to do was just literally do a 360 in her life. Like, she needed to move house, she needed to break up with her partner. Like, there was so much holding her back, and she was never going to get to where she needed to be. with if she didn't lose all this baggage. Like she
too much noise.
Yeah, she was in an environment every day that she wasn't happy with. And then it was like she's going into work and she was like, yeah, but like she was really trying, bless her, to throw herself into work. And you could see like she was really trying, she was really progressing, and she had really good ideas. But she was going home every night and she was so miserable, and she was saying that the story she was telling me was like she's going home every night, and it's like, what are you like, you're putting yourself through this, like you've got this amazing business, and it's just you're never gonna feel that light and that happy feeling about your business, because every day you've got this person draining your energy. And it's just there's this little thing that's called a sailboat metaphor that I use in coaching. You should use this for your coach students. So good, right? So basically you plan your life out and look at it as if it's like a ship. Okay. So the destination that you're going in is, the destination's like your big goal. And then when you look at your ship, so you'll have like the people that are in your ship, you'll have the actual boat that's made out of, like, what are the leaks? So are there anything that's going like wrong in your life, like like different finances that you need to get rid of? Yeah. And then you'll have like the sail, and then you'll have your compass. And basically if one of the things on your boat is a little bit wrong, so if you've got a little hole in the wood, or if your sail's got a little rip in, or if your compass is broken, it can't sail in the right direction. So you're never going to reach that direction. Like you're either going to sink, or you're going to go you're going to be heading like sideways. And then you have like external things that you can't control, like, the weather, like if there's something bad that happens in your life. But again, it's like how you steer in that weather. So it's all about knowing that it's your journey, and like you're the only one who can fix that ship. And so when I break it down to someone like that, and they start looking at all the different things in their life, so they're looking at their health, and they're looking at their emotions, and they're looking at the people that are in their life, and it's like, if there's something weighing them down, you need to get rid of it, because you can't be at your fullest potential, and you're never going to reach that destination that you want to get to if your ship's broken.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And it's such a, you can really
visualize
that
it
very easily.
Yeah. That's what they say, because they're like, wow, when you actually look at your life like that, you're like, okay, yeah, if that thing's broken, then I can't get there.
Yeah. And sometimes those things might be completely out of your control. If you have got like a partner, that's causing you misery, how far can you take that? How happy are you going to be waking up feeling to be motivated and go, right, today I'm going to smash it? If you're feeling sad, or if you've got a friend that's pulling you down, or just anyone really that's giving you them feelings.
A lot of people have that, I find, like with their friends, they have a lot of, you find that friends can be quite negative, like especially if girls are coming into the industry and they don't have any friends that are of similar goals. Like a lot of, if you've just got friends that are doing 9 to 5s, or they're not working, or whatever, they can't understand sometimes the love that you've got for your business, and they can't value you as like they just haven't got the same mindset as you, and it can be really hard because they feel really unsupported. And I think their friends don't understand that they've got to work weekends now, or they've got to do this, or and so I think sometimes when you do come into the industry, and not even this industry, but when you do come into that, wanting to be your best self and really wanting to smash your goals, you have to let things go sometimes.
You do. And I think, as sad as it is, you have to know, I call it like a pain point. So everyone has a pain point. You have to choose what yours is. Are you willing to give up friends, family, if they're toxic? Yes or no? Next level. Okay, that's fine. Are you willing to give up that Saturday evening to come into the clinic to treat that client that maybe can't get in the week? You have to decide what level it is that you're willing to put up with. To then see how far you're going to go. And I think when we're put in these situations of, okay, this is my level, this is my point of how high I can take this, you achieve such greatness because you pushed. And I think when we're pushed, we surprise ourselves.
100%. And I think with with your friends and things like that, if you're deciding that So, like, if you have got someone that's toxic in your life and you decide that you're just not going to put up with that anymore, no one says you have to be horrible. No one says you have to send them a message and say, do you know what, like, I'm not going to be your mate anymore.
I've listened to this podcast and you're gone.
That's it now, blocked. But, like, no one says you've got to be nasty, right?
Get
but
blocking girls.
All it takes is, like, you just have to keep picking yourself. So you have to just feel like, right.
You have to put yourself.
You have to just say, if they're draining your energy, you don't want to be around them, you just message them back and say, I'm really sorry, can't make it, I'm doing X, Y, Z. If they want to start shouting at you and going on at you, that's on them, and you can just ignore it. You haven't got to message back and be horrible or say, I knew you were going to do this, or just ignore it.
Yeah, because then that's interfering with your energy.
Yeah.
And
just literally go down your path and everyone else can just fall off it.
Yeah.
Like,
as harsh as it sounds. And I think the older that you get, the more you realise how true this is. And I think it's more difficult when you're young.
Yeah.
Because you take everything so personal.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm 34. Oh God, I can't believe I should admit that on a live podcast. Obviously you're in your 30s as well. I think when you get to those kind of ages, you just don't care anymore.
No, you don't.
Because you just think, well, so what?
I think it's again like that kind of ego thing, isn't it? Because you do lose it as you get a bit older. You kind of stop worrying as much about what people think, and so I think you just start to think, well, that doesn't make me happy, so what's the point of me doing that? Like, why am I putting myself through that? You start, I think it's with like life experience, isn't it? You start to think, what am I doing? Like, why am I dragging myself through? Like, you know, when you're younger, like when I was in my 20s, I'd go to every event with my friends and every birthday, and I was such a yes girl, such a people pleaser. I would always feel so bad. Like, I'd go and work my arse off. Like, I've always worked for myself years and years and years and years, and I'd work my arse off, and I'd be so tired, but I'd still go to like this birthday that night, and then I'd still feel like part of me would always want to say like, oh, I'm not having a drink tonight because I've got work in the morning, but then it's like they'd be like, oh, you're boring, and so then I'd end up like, I'd burn the candle at both ends. I'd get absolutely steaming. They haven't got to wake up and go work the next day. I've got to go work, talk to people all day, pretend I'm fine, probably go home and do it all again. And it's like, you get to that age where you realise that like, no one's going anywhere. Like, if you say, oh babe, like I can't make it tonight, like if they're a true friend to you as well, they'll be like, oh, no worries, like I know you've been working hard. And you have to start thinking of yourself. And if they don't, if someone doesn't support you with like you being honest about the way you feel, then that's about them. It's like, you shouldn't have to feel guilty about it. But yeah, I think so. A lot of girls, especially in our industry, are people pleasers because we all tend to be, or the girls that I do meet, like quite friendly people and quite energetic, and like, you know, we are hardworking, and so we've all probably had really similar experiences in life that have got us to this point. But yeah, it comes a point where you're just like, right, okay, enough's enough now. I've got to just focus on myself.
Yeah, and you have to really be able to do that without conviction. And I always say as well, don't take things personal. If someone doesn't like you or doesn't like something that you're doing, that's fine. You're not going to like everyone. You don't like everyone. It's okay. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It's just life.
And you can't change yourself so that someone can like you. So if they don't like you, then they don't like you, because it's like, you can't be liked by everyone. And if you're going to then start changing the way you act so she likes you, then your actual people that you should be with, they're not going to like you. So it's just, you know, like, it's you've just got to be you. Like, you're only here once, and it's, if you can't be unapologetically you, then what's the point? Like, I think you're not going to make yourself happy by trying to make other people happy.
True. And it's only going to take you so far, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to talk about this. I had something like happen to me a few weeks ago, but basically I'd been invited to Poland, and I was a judge in Poland. And what had happened is I'd hired a private cab company to take me to the airport at Heathrow, because you can only fly to Poland direct from London. So I was in the cab, stopped at Theunissen services, went to the loo, got a chocolate milkshake from M&S, it was lovely, loved it. Got to Heathrow Airport, and someone at Theunissen services had stolen my suitcase from the boots of the car when we'd stopped.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm literally at Heathrow, no suitcase, ready to meet a business partner at the airport, And I have no stuff, Chloe, nothing. Like, bearing in mind, it was my whole suitcase. There's like camera equipment, recording equipment in there. Like, obviously, when us girls pack, we pack our lives.
Oh my God, that is awful.
But I had a choice to make. I could have gone, okay, I'm going to not go to the event. I'm going to cancel it because I've got no toothbrush and no knickers.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, how do I move forward from this? And I did still go.
Yeah.
And I just kind of brought everything
and well
and
done,
it.
because that's like...
I was having a breakdown in the middle of Heathrow.
Yeah, it's people are so nasty. Like, who's
so horrible. But I think, again, the point of the story...
But that is like, you've still pushed yourself in that direction.
You have to still go, despite life sometimes being against you. And I think to have that characteristic in aesthetics, in this industry, with it being so competitive, I think that's what takes people from being ordinary to really becoming
100%.
successful, because you have to have sometimes those horrible experiences to appreciate the good times. I'm so happy that I have my new toothbrush and I'm loving it. But before, you just think, okay, well, it's just normal everyday things, but until you have things taken from you, you don't always fully appreciate them. It's crazy.
It's so crazy. And that's like what people need to listen to as well, because it's like with any events that happen, like in your life, like things do happen outside of what you can plan. Obviously, you didn't plan that, and that's not an ideal situation, but it's the way you deal with it. And also, that's your character then showing in the awards and like where you're going, because that shows you as such a good businesswoman that you've still turned up, you've still showed up, you've still pushed through, and like you would have let the other people down, and that wouldn't have been your fault, but it would have also been, it's such a knock-on effect if you'd have decided to let that take over your mindset and be like, oh, I feel like shit now, I'm not in the mood.
But again, it's like mindset. Yeah. You can be so in control of it. And even though I was in Heathrow having a breakdown, I still had a choice. I still have my passport.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people need to understand. If they're coming across barriers, no matter how big and horrible they seem, there is a way over it.
Yep.
Whether on your own or with a coach, with a mentor, you can get over it.
Yeah.
It might traumatise you for the rest of your life. I'll never stop at the services again.
Yeah, that's awful.
It's horrible, isn't it?
It's horrible.
And it's so sad. It's like, I kind of said to another friend actually a few days ago, it's so sad. You can't, the more you leave your front door, the more like at risk we seem to be of just
it's
horrible.
Really so sad.
It's so sad. And in London, people are getting their phones stolen, like literally in their hands and things like that. It's just awful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so bad. That's one of the things I really don't miss. Like when I'm away, I think I feel so much safer. Like England's just crazy at the moment. Like it's not a nice feeling.
It's horrible. And you're going to Dubai quite a lot.
Yes. I'm mainly in Dubai, to be fair, at the moment. So I come back like 1 week every 5 or 6 weeks. In the winter I'm here every 4 weeks. I'm all over it. But
that's nice. So how do you like that lifestyle?
I love it. I've loved Dubai. Like I've been on and off there for like 7 years. I've got a really good friend group there, and a really nice life. Like I love the lifestyle. It's really safe. So my stepdaughter, she's 15 and she's got a lovely little lifestyle there. She loves horse riding and like, nice. I love it. And obviously in terms of my coaching, I can do all of my coaching and stuff from there, which I love. And running the business, like you can do a lot from online now.
What took you to Dubai? What got you there?
So initially my sister moved there. She just went there she was there for like nearly 2 years, I think, 18 months, 2 years. She went there, she was only about 21 at the time, and she was doing like promo girl, so she was like a hostess basically, and she used to work at like Fashion Week and all different kind of stuff. So I just used to go there a lot to visit her, and then she made a few friends there, and then I ended up making friends there, and then I just then I started just going a lot, and I made I've just got so many good friends there. And then again, I just loved the safety. Like the first time I ever realised how much I loved it, like I'd been to a beach with my boyfriend at the time, and we were so drunk. Anyway, I left my bag, my phone, everything, and I left it for hours, and we was in like the next place, and I was like, oh shit, like my bag, and like just ring them up, and they're like, yes ma'am, no problem, it's here. And you honestly, it's just so nice.
That's so nice.
Honestly,
and you're just like,
honestly, I don't ever hear, like, touch wood of anyone in Dubai. You just, I think where the laws are just so different, people just really don't steal, and it's a really nice feeling that you don't have to worry about watching your handbag and stuff.
Yeah, and it's such a simple thing, but again,
and everyone gets out of their cars, and I'm not joking. You just leave your keys in your car. It's weird. Like it's really hard.
I left my key in my car, it'd be gone.
It's really weird to get used to. Because people just don't lock their cars and they don't take their keys out of their car. Like, honestly, one of my friends lives in an apartment and I'll go around hers and then she'd be like, oh, just go take the car if you want keys in the car. And I'm like, it's really hard to get used to.
That is wild.
But yeah, it just doesn't happen.
Would 18-year-old Chloe believe that you would be living this life now, being like living part between the UK and in Dubai? Because you've created this reality for yourself.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't know whether the living abroad thing, I don't know. But like, I think I always knew from when I was young, I've always been a real worker. I worked when I was like 13, 14, I worked in a hair salon 2 nights a week.
So you're really entrepreneurial from a young age.
Always, like I did a paper round. I used to babysit. Like
anything you could do.
Always wanted to work. And then as soon as when I was 16, I did my apprenticeship. And all of my friends were like going and getting like little random jobs, or like they were getting local apprenticeships or whatever. I was on the train every day into London. So I would do like a 50-minute journey every single morning when I was 16 because I wanted to train at like the best place. And so I was literally like, I'd be gone from 6:30 in the morning until 7 p.m. every day. And I worked Saturdays. And like all my friends were like, you're crazy. And I was like, no, that's where I want to work. Like I wanted to be in the hustle and bustle.
Sure.
Yeah. And like always, I never really had like a little down the end of the road job. It was always like I wanted to like, I don't know, I just always saw these cool places.
Interesting, but it fits in very well with like how you are now.
Yeah.
And obviously contributed a lot to your success. Were you pushed a lot by your parents growing up to be successful, or was
Do you
it
know
very
what?
much...
I wasn't pushed at all, but my mum's really hard working.
Okay, so she had her as like a role
Yeah,
model.
she does hair, and she wasn't like, she wasn't wealthy. She was like literally made ends meet, but she divorced my dad. So my dad was an alcoholic. He's passed away now, God rest his soul. But she had to overcome so much when I was like 12, 13. So she had to divorce him because she was going to lose the house. She had to literally work her ass off. And she would literally work day and night, like Monday to Friday, all day Saturday. She'd always still do the school runs. So she'd make sure she did the school run. She'd work all day. She'd come back. She'd make her dinner. Then she'd have a babysitter.
She was a powerhouse.
She was a proper powerhouse. And I think she just inspired me, I guess. Like it was always... Like we was always non-stop. We laugh about it now, like how my mum is, because my mum is nearly 60 and she does not stop. Like, and I'm like, Mum, you don't need to do that. And she'll be like, she'll come in and she'll start doing this and she'll start doing that. Like I was saying it to my friend the other day, you don't see my mum ever, like in my life, she does not sit down in the middle of the day. She just doesn't. And so I think it was just growing up around her, I guess, that I was like, yeah, she didn't ever like push you. She's never been. But
she inspired you, I suppose, in a way that was better because she just showed you a way. Yeah. And you were like, yeah,
it was just like, Mom. Yeah. And it was just like, there wasn't like, she didn't have any other choice. And it was like, we just have always, like, my sister's the same. Like, we've just always worked. And there's never been that, there's never been that option of like, of not having, like, I've never been like, oh, I can't do that. I've always thought like if I want to get that, I'm gonna get it. And I guess that's just been from like my mum always still made it work. She always still made sure we all had clean trainers and clean and she always made sure we still had what we needed to have. And so I think it must have just been like naturally like come into me. So thanks, Mum.
Bless her. Aww.
But yeah, she's amazing. She's just like so hardworking.
So
like she's the hardworking person I know. Like still now, it's just crazy. Like I have to like have a go at her sometimes because I'm like,
just like, Mom, chill out.
Yeah, like I was trying to make her because she'll take on anything. She does hair.
She's 60.
She's hairdresser. She hairdresses, right? And like she's got clients, so she's been hairdressing since she was 16. So she's got some clients that are really old, and like she'll go around there and they'll be like telling her that their cleaner's like sick or this and that, and then she'll be like, oh yeah, so then tomorrow actually I was going to have this gap then for this 2 hours, but now I've got to go and clean her house. And I'm like,
you're like, Mom.
I'm like, yeah, but you know, it's all right. You know, I was only going to be doing my food job and this and that, but I can do that after that. And I'm like, oh, she's off her head.
Oh, she sounds so sweet though, very unselfish.
Yeah,
and just giving and
yeah,
nice.
she's really good.
Bless
But
her.
yeah, you probably must have the same because you're so driven.
Oh, thank you. Do you know what? I think growing up in our era, I don't want to say that, something just sounds
I know,
so
we sound
old,
so old, don't we?
but it's true because there wasn't like what there is now.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad were both self-employed, so I spent a lot of time like seeing them run business, and I would like answer the phone a lot, and I was so excited when they first ever let me answer the phone. I'm like, hello. But I used to love that, and I used to like do really weird things when I was a kid. Like I'd pretend to like book people in a diary that was non-existent. And,
yeah,
like,
oh, that's
you
so
know,
cute.
I do like, but I think not realise. I just thought I was a weirdo.
Yeah.
But now looking back, I think, you know what? Actually, you obviously always wanted to do something and like have a purpose, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's growing up around. I think who you grow up with and the environment plays a big part in who you become.
100%.
And I think saying that doesn't mean to say you're going to be more or less successful. It just shapes your kind of experiences to decide what it is you want to be.
Yeah.
Because I've met so many amazingly successful people that have come from literally nothing. It's crazy. But because they've had those hardships, they work even harder.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you didn't have that support when you're younger as well, it's like when you do, you feel so accomplished, like because
you've done it by yourself.
Yeah, because you've done it, but no one's helped you, no one's given you a stepping stone, like no one's, and it's I think most successful people are like just self-driven, and they've just know that they want more, they know that what they want to have in their life. But yeah, I think it's nice now. I really love the community thing now, because I just think now it doesn't matter whether you have got someone there, whether you've got parents there, you know, like, and a 20-year-old could come into the industry now, and like she could be someone who has come from, you know, no parental support, no one given her any inspiration, but she can see it on social media. Like, it's so easy to see people doing well and like seeing people's stories, and it can inspire them to be like, oh, I can do this. Like, I don't have to have the same path as what I've lived. Like, I can change my narrative, and people see it so much more now. And I think it's, when we were younger, you didn't see it as much because there wasn't social media, so you did only see what you were around, and you know, it was just like newspapers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just so crazy,
like,
so different. Like, my son said to me, I said to him, where do you want to go at Christmas? And he said, let's go to Dubai because there's no taxes. I'm thinking, I was still learning literally to tie my shoelaces at your age.
Oh my
God.
God.
He knows that the taxes system is different in Dubai.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, what? I just, you know, this today is so different to the today that I had at that age.
We was laughing about it.
Crazy.
Did you ever we used to get the some paper, and we used to like collect the stamps to the caravan holidays.
I remember that as well. Yeah. Do you remember the teletext?
Yeah. Oh my God, teletext
holidays.
Oh my God, I think we used to book. I booked my holiday there, like the first ever girls' holiday I did when I was like 17 or 18. We booked it on teletext.
For like
holiday.
£100.
Yeah, it was so cheap.
Yeah,
oh
teletext holidays.
Teletext holidays.
What else did we have? Another thing I love doing at Christmas, Argos catalogue.
Oh my God, loved
circling
the Argos
everything.
Me and my cousin used to do it. This was so weird, right? We used to draw out on a piece of paper. We used to pretend we had like a little family, and we put the mum and the dad and the kids, and then we'd write underneath the lists of all the things they were having at the Argos catalogue. Like, how
that is so cute.
What was we doing with our time? It's just crazy.
I know. And then you'd bend like the pages, wouldn't you? Because like they didn't have the, you know, the things that are in Argos that you press.
Yeah.
They never had those.
No.
So you had to bend the pages.
It was. I think it was the nicest time though. I loved the way we grew up.
Yeah, it was very simple and just no stress. Just look at the Argos catalogue.
And it was so nice because you didn't have all
toaster.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, it was.
She used to write. Oh, I used to love writing my little Christmas list. So
I know,
cute.
it was cute. And now it's like, you know, you just go on Instagram and just buy. It's just the fun's been taken away.
Yeah, it has. And I think as well, everyone's got so much more things that they compare themselves to now, which is just more sad. Because we didn't have that when we were younger. Like we did have just, you know, like your little bit of cheap makeup from Superdrug, and that was you on your way. Like,
and
it
you literally looked like you were your age, 15, with crazy makeup and like really heavy like eyeshadows, whereas the girls now, they look amazing. I'm like,
my God,
I didn't look like that when I was 15.
I know, they got like their full face contour and their eyebrow, it's like, it's mental. Whereas when we was that age, there just wasn't that.
No.
And you know, you couldn't, and how you looked was how you looked. Like, you're not going to turn up and see someone different either, because no one's face apt.
No.
And
you would recognize someone if they went missing.
Now it's like, oh, that scares me. That's one of the things I hate about the industry as well. It's like all the editing and like it's not nice.
It's such pressure, isn't it, for the girls to?
Yeah, it's like it is really sad how many people, because people so much compare themselves to like other people, the way they look, and it's like, mate, most of the people that you're comparing yourself don't even look anything like what you think they do.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when I first came into aesthetics, like 10 years ago now, I set up a huge influencer day, kind of before everyone else kind of was doing it. I set up a huge influence day to try and get my name out there. And basically what I'd done, I'd invited all of these people on Instagram that I found that looked amazing, because I was younger then and I believed this was really going to help me to become successful. And I was in London. I was really nervous. I'd never done anything like this before, and I was going to be obviously working on all these girls' faces. I did not recognise one of them when they showed up, because I was like, you're so different from what I thought that you were. Not that there was a problem. Like, a lot of them were actually a lot prettier in real life. But I could not have recognised them or picked them out in a crowd as being the people that I thought that were coming down to see me. They looked that different, and that was 10 years ago.
Oh my God, wow. And then now it's evolved so much compared to that.
There was no face up then.
Oh, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, we all do it and we're all guilty of it. But it's just making sure, I suppose,
it's just making sure that people are aware that it's like, obviously everyone is going to edit things and everyone's going to put a little, like, people put filters on when we're doing our stories and whatever. But it's like, don't start thinking that you need to actually look like that. You need to change your face to look like that. Like, it's just a little gimmick.
And we don't always look great every day.
No.
Sometimes we're just there chilling, you know.
God, I'm the worst example, because I'm like nearly every single day just in a hoodie and my hair up and no makeup.
Because you're focusing on your work. And
and because I think like I mean, like, luckily for me, I'm quite comfortable in my own skin, so I don't mind wearing no makeup and stuff. Like, and I am a little bit of a tomboy. I just literally will live in my hoodie and my tracksuit bottoms and stuff. But it's like people expect that you're going to be walking around in this full glam and this full this, and like, it's not. It's like, real life is not that. Like, and no one cares either.
No, they don't. No one does care.
Like, no one, if you turn up with a full face of makeup on or with no makeup on, like, it's not like, people stress so much about, like, in work and stuff, how they're going to look, and it's like, no one cares. No one's coming to you because of how you've done your makeup and how you've done your contour or what lashes you've got on. Like, no one cares. They're gonna be attracted to you because of, like, the energy that you're giving off and how nice you are and how you make them feel. They don't care what you look like.
And I think again, it's just us women being very hard on ourselves sometimes. I was seeing a guy, not anymore, a few months ago, and he was like, had this thing about wanting to FaceTime me all the time, but it was so stressful, because I'm like, cause you know, when it's like new,
when it's
new,
you
look like crap.
No,
do you?
When it's new, it's very like, you just want to be posy,
and you
like,
just like,
you want to be cute all the time. And even because when you first start doing sleepovers, you're like, let me find my best pajamas.
Best pajamas, a little bit of scar on, maybe that stayed on till the morning, that you would never usually do. So I was in like this phase of like wanting to look cute and feel cute, and he's like, can we FaceTime? And I'm like thinking, oh God, I'm going to have to do this, got to do that. I can't just come on looking like what's the lady that's in Matilda, the Trunchable? I was like, I can't go on looking like
I'm
this.
sure you do not look like that.
I did, honestly. And he said to me one day, he said, are we going to FaceTime? And I went, do you know what, not tonight. And he went, why, what's the matter? I went, I've got a really big spot on my face and I just can't be bothered. And he said, well, I don't care about the spot on your face. I says, yeah, but I'm on the FaceTime, so I don't want to stare at myself with this huge spot, because I always put my face on bigger than the other person.
I do that. I don't know why I do that. I do it all the time.
I see myself bigger than the other person.
I think
I can't.
It's weird. I always do that.
Really?
Yeah. I wonder why that.
I don't know. And he was like, well, surely you can't see your spot. And I was like, I'm going to drop myself in it now, because now he's going to know that I have myself on the bigger screen. That is so funny that you do that as well.
I do
thought
that.
It was just me.
No, I do that, and I click on it, and I think to myself sometimes, why am I looking at myself? And I think, why am I looking at them bigger? But it's like I can't concentrate properly unless I'm like watching myself talking. It's so weird. But I do it sometimes.
We're always analysing.
I do it when I'm coaching sometimes, and I'm on the Zoom and I'm watching myself, and I think, why am I watching me?
Yeah.
Like, what am It's so weird.
It's crazy.
But I think it while I'm doing it, and I always think, why am I doing that? Because it's not like I'm not being posy or anything. I'm just sitting there talking, but I'm like, why am I staring at myself?
Sometimes we just need to, you know, have an ugly day and not be on the other end of the FaceTime.
Yeah. But at least you had a lucky escape with that one then.
I did.
I haven't got to worry about that anymore.
Yeah,
I think it's nice because we just had a normal chat and people realise that.
Yeah, we're just normal girls.
Yeah, because I think people, like, I don't show that much on my page, and I think sometimes people need to see that, like, that we are just normal, right?
Yeah. Just like, normal, having normal, like, life situations.
Yeah.
Bad stuff happens, you know. It's how we deal with it, I think, and how we move forward.
Yeah.
But I've absolutely loved talking to you.
I've loved it as well. It's been so nice. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to see you at the awards. I hope you're going to have a beautiful dress.
Yes, I do need to start. This will be my worst thing. I'll be saying to you the next day, I just ordered my dress last night. I'm the worst for, I need to start looking for an outfit. Have you found something?
Not yet, but now is the time that I need to start looking.
Yeah.
And I'd got like a few cute things that I was thinking of taking that I took to Poland that now probably someone else is wearing because my suitcase was stolen.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to replace that, but it's fine. I'll do it, you know. It's fine. It's just one of those things. I'm not letting it disrupt my energy, and I'm
going to definitely get a daytime ticket now so I can hear you talking in the day.
Oh, yeah, you need to come in the day. It's so
I
good.
really want to
so
go
many
in the
nice
day.
speakers.
Yeah.
And just a really nice vibe. And then we'll do the awards.
Yeah.
A few drinks. A few of us ended up on Canal Street in Manchester last year.
Oh, God.
It was great. It was really, really, it's nice. And everyone's so friendly and just,
Oh, yeah, no, I'll definitely be there. I'm excited.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on,
Thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you.
And lovely to meet you too.